This AnKing video is the first of hopefully many AnKing overhauls to the decks, and this time I did it with the Sketchy Micro stuff. That includes Lolnotacop and the Zanki antimicrobials, anti-neoplastics that sort of line up with the stuff that LOL did. And I also threw in the Zanki cards for Pathoma chapters 1 through 3. I organized them by video. I'll show you how I did that. That was by popular request. So here we go. Okay, I put a lot of time into making this deck for you guys, and I really hope that it is helpful. I'm going to go into this. I've included two sketchy things. Now keep in mind, this is mostly the antimicrobials. This is micro stuff. So there's the Lolnotacop deck as is, and if we go over here to the Med School Anki page and scroll down, I'll show you which deck I downloaded. It was this one, the tag overhaul deck. It had better tags and such. So I used that one, and then I changed it a ton, and I will show you how I did that. So that's the original deck here. And then Zanki Sketchy is just a giant deck with all of the antimicrobials. And then I've also included this Pathoma Chapter 1, 2, and 3, which I have organized, and I will show you that in a second. The first thing is what I did with the card type. With the Lolnotacop cards, I basically incorporated it so it's just like Pepper. It now has the full sketch first aid thing here. If you don't have it already, get the hint hotkeys add-on. Then you can just hit H. It will open up. There's the full sketch. If I hit H again, I have all of the first aid topics included on that. Now I just ported those over from the Pepper decks, so they may not be perfect. And they may not be completely up to date, but that's what it is. The other thing I did, I'm going to go to the browser here, I retagged a bunch of things so that they truly are by video. There's not a single thing that is not by video. There were a few previously that were kind of lumped, like for example, this would be 1.1 through 1.5 and all of the cards were there. It is no longer like that. The other cool thing with this card type I did, if we go to preview here, so I have these two hints, but I also included these other fields here for lecture details and RX details. So, you know, if you were missing questions here, you could type that in there. You could also type in all the stuff you have to remember for your lectures that aren't step 1 related. And when you pull up the card, it will pull those up first here so that you'd be like, hey, I need to pay attention to this. And I put the RX stuff in red so that you'll pay extra good attention to that. So I think those are really good card types for that. For the Pathoma cards, it's a very similar card type, but not quite the same. As you can see, I've included some of the Pathoma stuff here, but it has a, for reference, lecture, Pathoma, RX, and Boards and Beyond with a similar process. When you preview the card here, it would show that, and you would see all three of them there if you needed. The other thing I did with the card type is I added these tags here down at the bottom. Just shows you what tags the cards are in. I'm going to do a whole video, another video just on these card types, how you can edit them and such like that. So I highly recommend you watch that, but I'm just showing you the basics of that card type and what I've done with the tagging here on LOL. Now I'm going to get into the really nitty gritty stuff here. I did quite a bit. I added a few cards. As you can see, there's only 5, so nothing special. But the updates here, this is the really important things with this. Lolnotacop has a ton of duplicate cards. I tagged all of them, all 318 duplicates. And as you can see on mine, I just turned them all. It's the first flag, so they're all red for duplicate. I also tagged in Sketchy Pharm with the antimicrobials. There will be certain cards, for example, this is mentioned in the micro video, so you don't necessarily need this card in the farm video, so I tagged those as farm extras, and I flagged those with the second flag just so that I could keep track of them. Now the other thing, as I tagged these, the definitely do cards in the Boards and Beyond tag, I'll show you that. In here, he's got all these basics of micro stuff. A lot of these topics are covered by these Sketchy Micro videos, but some of them are not. The ones that are not, I tagged as definitely do, and as you can see, I set these to the third flag just so that I could pull them out quickly when I'm in these decks. You can see which ones are and aren't worth using. I recommend flagging things just to make it easy, but as you're going through, you would be able to see that that tag is down here. And then I have Zanki add to LOL. Now, I also, in addition to organizing all the Lolnotacop cards, I organized all of the Zanki Pharm cards as well. And Lolnotacop has anti-neoplastics in here in addition to antimicrobials. So I included those in the Zanki Pharm ones that I have organized. I think Lolnotacop did a better job of those specific cards, and that's why I use them primarily. And I have this tag, Zanki add to LOL, so that let's say you do this video, you can go through these cards and pull out and say, hey, these 4 cards are the ones that Zanki has that Lolnotacop does not have. So you can use those cards to supplement Lolnotacop. And that took a ton of time, so hopefully you enjoy that part. I did not do the anti-neoplastics deck. I went through all of the cards here in the Lolnotacop version, and I went through all the Zanki ones, and I did my best to pull things out for you, but just so you know, that one is not going to be as good as the antimicrobials deck, which should be really good. The other thing I should mention, let's see, in Zanki, the antimicrobials, Chapter 7 here, the antiviral hepatitis, is not in this deck here. As you can see in Lolnotacop, we are missing Chapter 7, so that is what I supplemented with the Zanki Pharm stuff. In addition to doing that, I'm going to show you what I did here. Oops. Gummas. This is just a card type that I knew I could use to show you. You can see I put this picture here. Previously, most of the pictures in the Lolnotacop deck had these pictures down at the bottom, and it had the sketchy picture at the top. I moved all of them to the top so that you get a better sense of what things actually look like, especially with histology. So I feel that's much more important, and hopefully that will be helpful to you. Okay, that was a lot, and I'm sorry it's a lot, but hopefully it's helpful. I also did include a couple tags here. I deleted all the erroneous tags. There were tons in both of these decks. I deleted all of them. I put all of the Blue Galaxy tags together under one expansion tag so that you can see which ones are Blue Galaxy and not the original Zanki, and then just first aid tags and anything else that I thought was important. Now in this deck, I'm also including the Pathoma videos, the first 3, as I said. I am going through the rest of Pathoma and Zanki and tagging them as I go, and I will release that when I get it done. But as for now, as you can see, I tagged them by video. Hopefully this is really helpful, especially with the Neoplasia deck. And if there is an additional tag, that's because there were things that weren't necessarily mentioned in Pathoma, for example, the paraneoplastic syndromes as well, and some of these extra cards. So I just tagged them separately. Now, I recommend using, this is what I used first for Neoplasia, was this one in the Zanki deck. And then I supplemented with the Lolnotacop version here. Let's see, Pathoma Chapter 3. And as you can see, I also organized the Lolnotacop version 1. This took forever, so I really hope that it is helpful to you. Now, I did, as I showed you before, I had some of these for reference from the lecture stuff. I do have some stuff from some of my classes, and it wasn't worth my time to go through and delete them all. So you may get some stuff there. It is helpful. If you don't like it, just delete it. I also added a field on here. If we go into the cards, if you're doing your cards and you have the edit field during review add-on, I have a video on that I will link in the description. You can click the extra field of this new card type and just start typing and add whatever you want, which is really nice. You can't do it with the top part with the close note, but you can do it with the extra type. So be sure to check out the next video. I'll show you more about that. Check out the description about that add-on. I think that is about everything you'll need for this deck. Hopefully you like it. Please give me your feedback so that as I'm doing the rest of the Zanki deck, I'm retagging all of that it will be more helpful for you. But best of wishes. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you check out the playlist channel so you can better use Anki. Thanks for learning with the AnKing. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on all the new tips and tricks we have to share with you. Also, here's our email. Feel free to send us any and all questions and comments. We are here to help.